When it comes to finances, I would argue that most of life's frustrations come from not having access to cash when you really want or need something. And that's no different for a family or a small business owner. Today, we're going to talk about exactly why access to capital is so vitally important, especially for small business owners. Hi, I'm Olivia Kirk.
I'm Tim Urich. We're from Tier 1 Capital, and we're here to show you how to regain control of your money.
As a small business owner, a lot of times you're juggling a million things, right? Between running the business, dealing with payroll, making a million decisions, plus family life. And just because you're a small business owner doesn't mean you have any less financial stress at home. And when it comes to that financial stress, what's the solution? Access to capital. How do we make sure, as a small business owner, you're able to grow the business, but still have access to capital to achieve your goals, whether that be expanding your business or have at-home goals?
Yeah, and keep this in mind. Capital, money, cash flow is the lifeblood of any business. So keep this in mind also. You're either going to have your own pool of money or you're going to have to pay for the privilege of using somebody else's pool of money. Because if you want your business to grow and survive and hopefully thrive, you need access to capital. So what we try to impress upon our clients is creating your own pool of capital so you don't have to A, ask permission to get access to somebody else's, and B, pay the going rate or more to access their pool of money. Because the golden rule is always in effect. The golden rule is simple. He who has the gold makes the rule.
But let's talk about what it looks like if you are in that position, because a lot of times when business owners come to us, their finances aren't perfect. And although they may look it to the outside world, they certainly don't feel it to the business owner, right? There's a lot of pressure associated with not being in control of your cash flow and control of your finances, right? So if you don't have access to money and you're forced to borrow, or even if you're earning a profit and reinvesting the whole thing into the business, it comes with a lot of financial pressure, right? Because you don't control how much money's going out. You don't control how much money's coming in. And a lot of times when business owners come to us, they think that they're one big sale away from financial freedom. And it's simply not the case, especially when you have debt over your head, right? Because if you pay off the debt with those profits, then you relieve some of that financial burden, or so it would seem. But then a new financial burden of not having access to money again is lingering right around the corner.
So that's a great point, because when you pay off your debt with a big contract or a big sale, all of a sudden you go from a position where your future cash flow was obligated to pay off this debt, and that was causing stress in your life, to a situation where now you pay off that debt, so you free up the future obligation of the cash flow, but now you don't have any cash. So you went from a position of not having cash, but having debt, to not having cash and not having debt. And maybe that's a better position, but at the end of the day, you still don't have access to capital. So the question we always ask is, are you making any progress? And that's the key. Having access to capital trumps everything. That is the be all and end all for a small business owner. Because when you have access to capital, opportunities will find you.
Exactly. And, I was just thinking about it as you were saying that. It's not an easy step, right? Because immediately, as soon as you get that money, your gut reaction is to, okay, I need to pay off this debt. I need some relief. I need some cash flow relief. But by taking a step back and saying, okay, I need to put myself and my financial security first, and reserving that money on the side and not paying off that debt, and maybe using it to fund that monthly cash flow, that monthly debt service, that's a huge step. And it's not an easy step, right? Because you see the interest being paid towards that debt. But what you don't see is you're actually putting yourself in a better financial position by having this money on the side, by having access to it. Because now when an emergency comes up, you have access to the money, right? You don't have to go to the bank and prove your worth to them, quite literally, right? And you're able to take on what the world has for you. And so taking that first step is often the hardest, and often, it seems counterintuitive to do, but it's what's going to move you financially forward as a small business owner instead of the bank financially forward.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because when you have your own pool of money that you could access, when you want to access it, you're not asking permission to get that access. You're literally giving an order. However, if you don't have that pool of money and you need access to capital, now you have to go hat in hand begging somebody else, a bank or a credit company, for access to their pool of capital.
There's nothing more annoying than filling out those financial questionnaires, those financial
gosh.
network questionnaires for the bank. It's just like, I just gave you the money. Please give it back to me.
Yeah, that's a great point. But also keep this in mind. There's a big difference between giving an order and asking permission. And we want you to be in that position where you give an order all the time. And as we said earlier, when you have access to your own pool of capital, opportunities will seek you out, believe me.
Yeah, and opportunities equal access to more money, right? And so by taking this first step, it's really giving you the opportunity to build on that first step and move yourself forward even more financially. Because if you don't have access to money, you don't even know the opportunities that are passing you by. It's not every day opportunities come up to you, or that you're able to see them if you don't have access to that money.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because I just heard this the other day. Opportunities are never lost. They're just taken by somebody else.
That's evil.
It's the truth.
Absolutely. If you'd like to learn more about how to put these strategies to work for your specific situation and move your business and your family financially forward, be sure to check out our website at tier1capital.com. Also, if you like this video, be sure to check out these two. We picked them out special for you.
Thanks so much for watching our video. And remember, it's not how much money you make.
It's how much money you keep that really matters. We'll see you in the next one.